Hey guys, welcome to week 2 of the 90 Days to Your Novel Challenge. Stick around because I'm going to be going over this week's assignments. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Nicole Wolf and I'm a paranormal romance writer and historical romance writer as far as this challenge is concerned. So I hope everybody's week 1 went really well. So let's jump right into this week's assignments. Okay, so day 8. The goal of this exercise is to demonstrate that the choices you make about point of view will affect how your story is told. First, select 3 characters from your character bios and put them in a short, no longer than 3 pages, scene together. In this scene, at least one of your characters should discover something that will change his or her life, either for positive or negative. Perhaps a character has discovered that he won $42,000 in a lifetime of free stays at the Hilton on a nationally televised game show. While he's overjoyed, another character might be envious or spiteful. Remember, you'll be writing this scene multiple times, so consider the inner thoughts and motivations of each character. In the first draft, write this scene from the perspective of character 1. In the second draft, write this scene from the perspective of character 2. In the third draft, write this scene from the perspective of character 3. When you have completed each scene, I want you to write a paragraph of assessment. Which perspective did you find the most natural? Which perspective offers the most interesting vantage point? If you were starting your novel today, which of these 3 characters would you select to narrate it? Okay, and then day 9's assignment. The goal of today's assignment is to explore potential POV types and the effect they may have on your novel. In yesterday's assignment, you were asked to write one scene from the perspective of 3 different characters. Today, I want you to choose one of those scenes, perhaps the one you felt was the most interesting or compelling, and rewrite it from the first person, third person limited, and third person omniscient point of views. Then reread all your scenes and ask yourself which one feels the most natural. Then select the character you will most likely use as your POV character. Remember, until you begin to write your outline, your POV may change. For now, simply focus on the exploration and development of each exercise. Write what might be the first scene of your novel using this character, selecting a point of view type, and focusing on developing the voice of the character. When you reread this exercise, you should decipher through the style, diction, rhythm, and sentence structure some personality traits of your character. Try integrating some of your learnings from previous exercises into this theme. How can you convey your character's emotions? How can you engage this character in direct conversation with another character? Write freely and don't overthink it. You never know where your character might take you or what you might discover through the process. Okay, day 10. Day 10 is the goal of today's writing is to further develop some of our main players, making sure they have the staying power and charisma required of a novel's protagonist. First, select a character who is likely to be your protagonist and allow yourself to freely write about him or her for a sustained period of at least 30 minutes to an hour. What does he look like? What is his history? What motivates him? In what ways is he a good guy with flaws or a bad guy with positive attributes? Allow yourself to more fully explore the complexity of this one character. Next, write a scene introducing the above character as the central actor, paying particular attention to character history, complexity, motivation, and physical description. In this scene, your character must want something, but of course cannot have it. Glance, if you must, at the sticky note you've stuck to your writing desk. Do not give the protagonist what he or she wants. Day 11. The goal of today's assignment is to analyze the conflicts at work in your story. Are the stakes deep enough? Will these conflicts compel your characters to action? First, I want you to take a look at the synopsis you wrote for day 3. Day 3? You mean day 4. Does your novel have, as Sid Field suggests, at least 2 major plot points, the first of which drives your character to action and the second of which is the turning point or point of no return for your character? Are the conflicts deep enough, important enough, or big enough to sustain the novel? Now make a list of all the conflicts in your story. Can you locate any non-conflicts or yearnings without action? Finally, select the 2 biggest conflicts. What a novelist would term the rising conflict and the climax. and spend the rest of your time today writing each of these scenes. As your character deals with these conflicts, how does his personality, history, experiences, and desires naturally cause him to act or react in the situation? Be sure to divide your time evenly between these scenes. As you get involved in a scene, it's easy to be tempted to keep working on it, but remember, this is still the pre-writing stage. Your goal is to simply explore your ideas to be sure your conflicts are able to sustain a novel. I need to work on that. Once you've finished, assess what you've written. What is at stake for your character if he or she doesn't get what they want? How is the character changed by the conflict? Is the character internal or external? For now, I'm only asking you to generally assess the conflicts in your story. However, you'll want to soon begin thinking about the narrative arc, the beginning, the middle, and the end of your story. Day 12. The goal of the following assignment is to develop some of your minor characters. As your storyline evolves, you'll likely find a need to expand your cast. First, using the worksheet on page 109, which is basically just another example of a bio worksheet, but shorter. Come up with bios for at least 10 potential minor characters. What kind of individuals will your protagonist encounter through the pages of the novel? You may want to consider relatives of your characters, co-workers, or classmates. Or you may wish to think about the various scene settings and the kind of people who might populate the scenery. For instance, if one scene is set in a park, will there be a hot dog vendor, a street performer? Next, spend the rest of your time writing several short scenes that involve minor characters. In what ways will these individuals react? How is your reader given a clearer picture about your protagonist? Remember, you can reveal much about your minor characters in a short space of time if you pay particular attention to details of appearance and or how the characters may carry themselves. Day 13. The goal of today's writing is to practice using narrative summary within a scene, but first return to one of the scenes you wrote for either day 10 or day 11. Reread this scene and assess whether you either are using or could use narrative summary. Narrative summary. Narrative summary is essentially when the narrator summarizes some of the events of the story for the reader without showing the scene directly, which can serve two main purposes. One, to orient your reader to changes in time, location, or point of view at the beginning of the scene. Or two, summarize what has happened so you can cut irrelevant, uninteresting, or unnecessary information. You might find it useful to print this scene and highlight with a marker. Next, ask yourself which details are not necessary to the scene. Which details could you put in summary? Now I'd like you to write the scene you imagine could follow this scene chronologically in your novel. However, I want you to either move forward significantly in time or change the setting in this new scene. Begin this scene with narrative summary before launching into the scene itself. Switch from narrative summary to scene narration at least twice in the section. Pay careful attention to what information can be summarized and what information should definitely be narrated in scene. And day 14, last assignment for the week. The goal of today's work is to begin brainstorming some likely plot points and scenes for inclusion in the first third of your novel or novel outline. First, I want you to come up with a list of 20 first lines of your novel. Each should be different and each should immediately grab the attention of your reader. A first line that reveals conflict or tension immediately is often a good lead in your story. Don't focus too much on perfection at this point. Just brainstorm the various and interesting ways you can enter your story. Next, write a list of at least 5 different scenes and their summaries that may be included in the first act. You may wish to review the questions above when you draw up this list of scenes. The questions are: what is the significant event of the novel? What is your character's motivation? What is at stake for him or her? Have you included enough scenes that provide the history and background for your character? In other words, have you developed your character enough in the first scenes for your reader to feel invested in him or her? Do you include scenes that either overtly show or hint at the challenges your character will face? Is the first third of your novel interesting enough to engage your reader and compel him to continue turning pages? Finally, write at least one of the scenes from your list above. We're not quite to the outline yet, so feel free to explore this character and this scene to see where it will take you. And that is the end of this week's assignments. I don't know if you guys have gotten a clue that this outlining method, or I guess we're still in brainstorming mode. This author obviously likes to scene write during her brainstorming process, which leads me to believe that she may have been a pantser in the past. Because I have never been a pantser, and I have never done this in my brainstorming stage. So that's why I think she was a pantser, because I have never done so much scene writing in the brainstorming stage. Never. So anyway, if you are a pantser, I have a feeling y'all are going to really like this challenge, because there's a lot of discovery scene writing going on. Don't forget to check out the Facebook group, where I will have this list posted in the Facebook group for everybody to reference back to. That is also the place where you can ask questions, post your progress, complain about problems, which I probably have already done, because I'm having a lot of issues because I am not a pantser and I feel like I'm pantsing. Don't forget to hit that like button and that subscribe and the little bell, so you know when each week's assignments are uploaded. And I will see everybody in my next video. Thanks, guys. Bye.